Elijah, he's one of the boldest prophets in the entire Bible, calling down fire from heaven, standing up to kings, and yet, in 1 Kings chapters 19 through 22, we see him at his lowest. Let's walk through these chapters and discover what happens when courage meets fear, when faith feels lonely, and how God answers in ways we might not expect. Right after the big victory on Mount Carmel, Elijah gets news that Jezebel, the queen with a lethal reputation, is hunting him down. She's not joking around. Elijah runs for his life, all the way to Beersheba, and then into the wilderness, exhausted and completely overwhelmed. Imagine that, one of God's greatest prophets praying under a broom tree, "Lord, I've had enough. Let me die." It's a moment of raw honesty. But God doesn't lecture Elijah, he sends an angel with food and water, twice. Sometimes what I need most isn't a lecture, it's a meal, a nap, and the gentle reminder that God sees me. Strengthened, Elijah travels 40 days to Mount Horeb, the mountain of God, and there, he finds a cave. God asks him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah pours his heart out. "I've done everything I can, but I feel utterly alone." God invites Elijah to stand on the mountain. There's a mighty wind, an earthquake, and a fire. But God isn't in any of those. Instead, he comes in a still small voice. Sometimes when I'm desperate for a big sign, God's answer is quiet, a whisper in the chaos, a presence in the silence. God gives Elijah a new mission, anoint new kings and call Elisha as his successor. And by the way, there are 7,000 faithful people left in Israel. Elijah's not as alone as he thinks. Elijah finds Elisha in the fields and calls him. Elisha leaves everything behind, family, oxen, even his livelihood, to follow Elijah. It's a powerful reminder that God's work carries on, even when I feel spent or alone. The story shifts to the political drama between Israel and Syria. King Ahab is under siege, and the odds look grim. But God sends a prophet, unnamed but clear. "I'll deliver you so you'll know I am the Lord." Israel wins twice against incredible odds, but Ahab's heart isn't loyal. He makes a treaty instead of following God fully, and a prophet condemns him for his compromise. Then we get the infamous story of Naboth's vineyard. Ahab wants Naboth's land, Naboth refuses, and Jezebel engineers a sinister plot. Naboth is falsely accused and killed, and Ahab takes the vineyard. God sends Elijah to confront Ahab, and the verdict is devastating. Judgment for Ahab and Jezebel. Justice, even when it seems delayed, is never forgotten by God. Surprisingly, when Ahab humbles himself, God notices. Even the worst can find mercy if they turn to God, though consequences remain. As we close out these chapters, Ahab ignores the warning of the prophet Micaiah, goes to war, and is killed, just as God said. Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, is highlighted as one who does right, though not perfectly. What do I take away from these stories? Even giants of faith get scared, tired, or lonely. God meets us in our lowest moments. Not always with thunder, but often in whispers. His justice is sure, but so is his mercy. And even when I feel alone, God is working, raising up others, writing a bigger story, inviting me to trust him one more time. So wherever you are, burned out under a broom tree or facing your own battles, remember, God is near, speaking, working, and still calling us forward.